Good morning, my friends. This is Miss Patti from the Goffstown Public Library, and it is Friday, July 24th, so welcome to Fairy Tale Friday. I have picked what I think is a really neat fairy tale, and maybe, just maybe, one you've never heard. I have to admit, while I've heard this story before, I haven't heard it that many times, so I think it's kind of cool. Like all of our other fairy tales that we'll be reading this summer, I think, they have all been written originally by the Brothers Grimm. However, I've been going through the library collection to find other authors who have retold some of these classic fairy tales in a little bit of a different way. And I happened upon this version of our fairy tale for today, which, by the way, is called The Fisherman and His Wife. And this version is retold and illustrated by Rachel Isadora. And the story with this author, and I made some notes, are that she lived in Africa for 10 years. That's a long time. It could even be a little longer than some of you have been alive, right? And so she uses an African setting to retell the story. And actually last week, if you saw our fairy tale, listened to our fairy tale reading last week of The Princess and the Pea, the book that I read then was also written by her. Well, retold, I should say, by her. So, without further ado, let's settle in and get cozy. Are you cozy? I am. I'm going to call this my fairy tale telling chair. I'm in my fairy tale telling chair. Say that 5 times fast. Not easy. Okay, The Fisherman and His Wife. Here we go. This fairy tale is about making wishes. Long ago, there was a fisherman who lived with his wife in a pigsty by the sea. One day, the fisherman caught an unusually large flounder. "Please spare my life. I am not a fish, but an enchanted prince," the flounder begged. Surprised that the fish could speak, the fisherman let him go. That was a kind thing to do, wasn't it? When the fisherman arrived home, his wife asked for the fish that she would cook for dinner. The fisherman told her about the flounder. "Did you not wish for anything before you let him go?" she asked. "What would I possibly wish for?" the fisherman said. "We live in a place that is small and stinks. Go tell the enchanted flounder I want a hut," the wife insisted. These are some cool illustrations in this book. The sea was stirring when the fisherman returned. "Flounder, my wife has a wish," he called out. "What is it?" the flounder asked as he swam near the shore. "A hut," the fisherman answered. "Go then, she has it already," the flounder said. When the fisherman arrived home, his wife said, "Husband, isn't this much better?" "Yes," the fisherman answered. "Now we will be happy." And they were for a few days, until the wife said, "This hut is still too small. Go, husband, and tell the flounder I want a stone castle." The fisherman knew this was not right, but he did not want to argue, so he went. The sea was green and murky when the fisherman called to the flounder that his wife had another wish. "What does she want now?" the flounder asked. "Alas, she wants a stone castle," the fisherman called. "Go then, she has it already," the flounder said. That's a pretty generous fish, wouldn't you say? When the fisherman arrived home, his wife asked, "Is this not beautiful?" "Yes," the fisherman said. "Now let us be content." The following morning the wife decided, "We should be king of all the land." "But I don't want to be king," said the fisherman. "Then I will be. Go tell the flounder I must be king," the wife said. So the fisherman left with a heavy heart. The sea was dark and frothy when the fisherman called to the flounder that his wife had another wish. "What does she want now?" the flounder asked. "To be king," the fisherman said, frightened. "Go home. She is king," the flounder said. The fisherman went home and said, "Now, wife, there is nothing more to wish for. I am king, and you are nothing but my husband. Go tell the flounder I want to be emperor over all the lands," the wife ordered. What do you think about how this is turning out? Look at that beautiful, colorful dress she's wearing. The sea was black and boiled up from deep below. The fisherman trembled when he called to the flounder. "What does she want now?" the flounder asked. "To be emperor," the fisherman called. "Go, she is emperor," the flounder called back. The wife was emperor. "Are you not satisfied now?" the fisherman asked. "No," the wife said. "I am emperor now, but I want to be pope too. Go immediately and tell the flounder." That, my friends, is what you call a power-hungry person. There's not enough to fill her bucket, is there? The sea roared as it rose higher and higher. The fisherman was very afraid when he called out to the flounder. "What does she want now?" the flounder asked. "To be pope," the fisherman answered. "She is pope," the flounder shouted. When the fisherman arrived home, he said, "Wife, you are pope. Now let well enough alone." But as the sun rose in the morning sky, the wife said, "I want to be God. Go tell the flounder at once." The fisherman was horrified. "I cannot ask the flounder to do this," he begged. The wife fell into a rage. She was very angry, and so the fisherman left. Can you imagine asking such a thing? The sea rose with the waves as high as the mountains when the fisherman called out. "What does she want now?" the flounder shouted. "She wants to be God," the fisherman cried out. "Go to her," the flounder called. Look at that ocean. When the fisherman arrived home, there was the old pigsty, and beside it was his wife. And that is where the fisherman and his wife lived from that day on. So what's the moral of that fairy tale? Don't ask for too much, right? If you ask for too much, you might not get anything that you really wanted. Like, for example, do you like to eat cookies? I like to eat cookies. It depends on what kind of cookie. I also like to eat potato chips. But if I eat too many of them, which is what I think I want sometimes when I sit down, then I get something I don't want, and that's a tummy ache, right? So be happy with what you get. That is the moral of the story. And don't push the envelope, as they say. So that's our fairy tale for today. If you are participating in the Goffstown Public Library Summer Experience 2020, and you are using the Read Squared app or account, you are probably waiting for me to announce the secret code for listening to today's fairy tale. And the secret code for today is Flounder. Flounder. Flounder, type of fish. And when you enter that into Read Squared, please use all uppercase letters for it to work, okay? If you're not using Read Squared and you want to hear more about it, just give me a call at the library or send me an email at Patti, P-A-T-T-I, the letter P, at goffstownlibrary.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Friday for our next fairy tale reading.